the right platform and then go fastly down the stairs to bypass it without actually having to do battle with any of those floating ghost enemies. Right here, I like to wait for the bat to come towards me, back up, and then jump over it, because it's really hard sometimes to actually be able to hit it with your whip. Once you go down these stairs, it's actually time for our next boss battle. This is a giant bat that actually multiplies into other bats. Quickly hit it, and if you time your hits correctly, you'll be able to consistently hit this bat over and over again, and defeat it with only a few hits. You'll see with some timed hits, he goes down really quickly. Our next level is located in this cave-like area and introduces the eyeballs that will move on the top area of the screen and slowly drop drips onto you trying to hit you. I usually like to take them out as soon as possible. The fire enemies are only going to take 2 hits to kill, but the worst thing about them is that you have to wait for the fire that they leave on the ground to dissipate before you're able to continue. Here we have to deal with some more drips that are coming from the ceiling that actually disintegrate the blocks that they touch. You also have different pathways to take in this area. Either pathway is going to lead to the same area. I prefer to take the top path. I find that path a little bit more easy. In this room, if you really want to wait for the drips to destroy all the blocks in the room, you can get down to the bottom path, but either way it leads to the same room and a fire enemy, one on top, one on the bottom, so no matter what you're facing one. Wait for the fire to go away and then move to the moving platform. At this point you can head down to the bottom path just to avoid some more of the firemen and move into the door. In this room, take out the fire guy before moving down to the bottom part of the platform. And here's where you're going to have to wait for the right timing to jump over to the next platform. Wait for the spikes to go almost all the way to the top so that they're actually locked in, and then make your jumps over. When you are here, wait for the spikes to come down and then actually stand on top of the platform that moves with them in order to make it across the gap. Jump onto the moving platform and go up the stairs to our last room of this area. Another one of the dripping enemies is at the top. Just ignore this one or take him out with your axe if you have it, if you really want to. But once you make it to the right, it's time for the boss battle against Alucard in his transformed form. Stay on this platform and duck down and just continue using your whip. You'll see that I'm actually able to destroy some of the flames before they're actually able to get me. If he's gonna form within you, move over to the other block, because he's only going to be able to take up one of the 2 blocks on this bottom platform. So standing on it and ducking is easily your best strategy, and when they hit you with the fireballs, it only does 3 bars of health. So as long as you have at least 6 or 9 pieces of health, you should be able to defeat this boss easily. Just keep waiting for him to form and deliver your shots to him. Once he's taken care of, we get our orb, and now we actually get Alucard, the son of Dracula, to join us. Before we move on with the Son of Darkness, we're actually going to switch back to the magician Sypha and Trevor Belmont as they work their way through their next level. This upcoming level is probably one of the harder ones to deal with, this evil haunted ship. I'll show off Sypha for the first time here. Sypha does not have a good jump at all. Sypha moves slowly and has a very low range attack, as you can see, almost as bad as Grant's. But what makes Sypha such a great, amazing character is her magic spells. The one I have right now, the fire ability, which I just lost by grabbing the clock, but the fire ability is going to be the one I mainly use throughout this run. It destroys enemies, it does double damage to every enemy it hits, and has a decent distance, almost as much distance, if not more, than Trevor's whip. You'll find out that the flame ability with Sypha against bosses is going to work extremely well for us. But Sypha actually has other spells that we'll show off later on. She has an ice spell, which can actually freeze enemies on screen, as well as freeze any water that she's standing in, as well as an ability to shoot out 3 orbs that actually home in on their targets, and that ability is going to be pretty much essential for defeating the final boss of the game. Over here, defeat the red skeleton. If you want to, destroy this wall for another piece of chicken, or turkey, or just random meat, whatever you want to call it, in the wall to gain a little bit of your health back if you lost any. Defeat the ghost enemy before continuing on. You don't want that thing following you throughout this area and accidentally hitting you when you try to make a jump. When you enter this room, I can't stress enough, do not jump to the platforms. They are not the kind of platforms that when they reach the bottom go back up, they just disappear. So wait for the next set of 2 to fall down from the ceiling. There's been too many deaths in my life related to that particular jump. Once again, wait for the platforms to come down at you, and then jump to them. Quickly jump to the 3rd one, wait a second for the next one to fall from the 4th slot, jump to it, and then quickly jump over to the platform where you're finally safe for a little bit. Here's our next boss of the game, this Medusa boss, and the flame comes in handy right away against this boss. Keep using Sypha's flame and you'll see that it only takes about 5 hits with it to defeat the Medusa. And even though Medusa is one of my favorite bosses in any Castlevania game, she goes down pretty easily with almost no fight this part. But you'll quickly see that the level isn't over yet, we actually have to continue on in here. Thankfully, they're nice enough to give us a piece of meat here that if you took too much damage from the Medusa fight, you can gain some of your health back. As far as these purple skeletons go that are holding their own head, just try to stay out of range of their rapier and use either Trevor's whip or Sypha's flame to take them out from a distance. These guys can really hit you hard. Right here is a pretty hard platform segment. Jump over and you'll see that the balance quickly goes to the opposite side. Jump on it quickly and make it over to the other one, and then make sure that you fluctuate it so that the left part that you're on is down and the right part's quickly in the air, and then very fast move your way up to that right side so that when it's falling back down, you'll be able to make it to that platform on the right. While in some games that jump would be easy, but with the jumping sometimes in Castlevania 3, that jump may not necessarily be as easy as that. Our next boss is actually 2-for-1 boss. This spirit will go into one of the coffins and you'll have to fight first 2 mummies, and then it'll go to the right coffin and you'll have to face another one of their Cyclops enemies. Use Sypha's flame immediately when they spawn out of their coffins so that you can instantly hit them. Thankfully, once one's done, it's easy to take out the opposite one. The problem here is you're gonna probably have just a little bit of health left. The Cyclops enemy, though, is definitely easier this time because we can quickly get to the platforms. and Sypha's flame ability does 3 damage to him each time. So usually, because of my low health, I like to either hit him and then immediately run, or bait him into trying to hit me with the hammer so that I can get another one in before going to the opposite side. If you don't have too much health, you may want to be a little bit more cautious when it comes to this area. Thankfully though, once he's done, we'll get another orb, and our health will actually finally return. This level starts off with some of the platforms that spin around with the spikes on the bottom of it, so be very